right. So, in order for us to relax the parking brake, we have to go into the car, turn the ignition on without starting the engine. And then I go to the back button and the OK button. Press the back button, hold this for about 5 seconds. Now I hit back again, and we get our screen up here, and you just scroll through and you'll get to the workshop mode. You select that, and we go down here to brake pad replacement. Enter, say okay. Okay, so now that electric motor just relaxed. So now that I can just go in here and take these 13mm bolts out, pull the caliper off, and do a normal brake change. So this is an AMG package that I am changing brakes out on. Here is the part number for the Mercedes brakes that I put in. I had a hard time getting these, so I wound up having to go back to the dealer. So I'm going to show this in case you also have an MLE 350 with that AMG exterior sport package. So the brakes are a little bit different than the standard, and I could not get those aftermarket. Not yet, anyway. I'm also going to be changing out the warning sensor. So you can see over here, I've already got this one out because I took that out to find out that I had the wrong brake pads before. So I just left that out. I'm going to be putting in a new one of these. This actually will rub against the rotor as the brake pads start to wear, and the plastic will wear off, and then you'll ground to the rotor, and that'll give you an alarm that your brake pads need to be replaced. Again, I got a 13mm on here. So you got 2 bolts to go after on the brake pad, on the caliper. And I forgot, you have to hold back in there too. I think it's 18mm. So I need to hold back here inside just enough so I can just start threading this out. So you just hold it. If you don't have these speed wrenches, it sure does make your job a lot easier. I have a metric set and a standard set. And these actually have a pivot so you can get in tight spaces. And that's, you can see where I have Loctite as found on the threads. So that's blue, so that's removable strength. Let's see here. Should be able to fish this out pretty easy. Let's see. Okay. I'm just going to carefully take a look over here. Next thing I need to do now that the parking brake is relaxed, I'm going to push this piston back in so I can change my pads. Now I do have a master kit for connecting to these pistons and pushing these in. Let's see how this works. So you can see I'm inside the caliper with this tool. So I'm going to take and compress that piston down so that I can make room for my new brake pads. And now you can see that the piston is lower, so we can load our new brakes on here, and we have clearance to do that. Now I did tie my caliper up so that I'm not just relying on the hoses to hold that in position. I'm going to get another light here so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to use caliper grease, so this will go inside on the sliding surfaces of the brake pads. There's another light. You can see a little bit better what's going on here. So I'm just going to reach in and pry these out. There's my back. There we go. And notice that the back pad actually has this prong. The front one does not. This is actually where your sensor gets installed. You can see that difference on the thickness. So definitely time to change these. So I need to get these little clips out of here. Just go and pry these out. They're like a spring clip. Got a bunch of these clips. They go into here so that you start fresh with no muck on the sliding surfaces other than the grease we're gonna put in there. Now you do want to make sure that you line these up. You should have some tabs in here to force you to do it, because you don't want that touching your disc. There we go. Now I gotta do the backs. Okay, so now we've got all of those clips installed, and our new brake pads have a nice smooth track to run along. So I'll put a little grease on the track. I don't put much on here, just a little bit. It's high temperature grease. Don't want that on the rotor. Remember, the brake pad with the tangle on top goes to the back side. So I'm gonna fit the front in like so. Just make sure I have all those tabs on there straight, because if not, you ain't getting the pads in. All right. Okay. Now that we're at that stage, let's see. So our brake sensor will go right in here. See that little hole in there? I probably could have done that before, but I didn't. There we go. Okay, now we're in. So on this side, we don't have a brake sensor. That's only on one side of the vehicle, and in this case, I have brake sensors on the rear passenger side. So you're making an assumption that this side is more in the same way when that alarm goes off. So as you finish each side of the brakes here, what you want to do is just lightly pump your brakes up a little bit. And that takes all the fluid that you pushed into the brake cylinder and then compresses your caliper again. So that's not the parking brake. We'll have to do that next. That just evens out your hydraulics so that your reservoir is at proper level. And we'll check that when we're done. This area in here, that is a registered fit for your rims. So I just like to take a little bit of the corrosion off and lightly brush that. Now that I have an opportunity, just pull the tire back on. The best way to do this is to try to get our lug nut locations as close as possible before we put this on. I'll just lightly run this in, starting it. I'm using a big gun, but I'm not putting any torque on these. I do not use an impact gun to tighten lug nuts. I use a torque wrench. just bring them all up about even. And now I'll go back to the first one. And I got 2 beeps. That's not full torque. Now I'll go to full torque. All right. Okay. That's it. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to press these 2 buttons. And then real quick, do that one. And then scroll over. Go to workshop. Can you hear that? Hit OK. And we are done. All my alarms are cleared. And we're back to normal. So that's it.